days. First thing I'm gonna do is ta-da! Soaked buckwheat. The way that I'm gonna do the oh shit, I can't do the buckwheat yet. I gotta steam the mushrooms first. Okay, so turn this on. Got my steamer tray. And this is all they had at CVS. It's not distilled spring water, but whatever. Okay. Oyster mushrooms, my favorite. My man El Cash, who works on the Life Food cannabis farm in Canada, told me that the white button mushrooms, the portobello mushrooms, are actually mildly toxic. And the only ones that they have that aren't at my local market where I purchase my produce is the oyster mushrooms and the shiitake. So those oyster mushrooms are cheaper, and I don't know that I like them better, but that's what I got, and I love them, and that's that. So that's what I'm gonna make, and I need that big pot to, I guess I don't. I was gonna say I need to do things in order because I'm gonna use the big pot to put the strainer on top of where I'm gonna put the buckwheat into the milk bag. So just do things in order. While the mushrooms are steaming, I'll just do the cucumbers. Matt, I just saw at the end of the broadcast you said more gaming. I don't know if you meant more gaming tonight, but that's it for me tonight. I know these gamers, they stream for hours and hours. I can't. I don't have the stamina to do that. I will do longer gaming streams. Tonight was kind of a test run with the OBS and the webcam and, you know, the face cam and similar texture as a portobello. Yeah, probably. See, the thing is, here, I think I gotta actually go this way because the light is coming in here. If I stand here, my own body's gonna block the shadow. Not today, you prefer cooking. Cool, cool. Yeah, I mean, I normally don't do a cooking stream when I'm just like cooking for myself because it's so simple. Like, I'm really not doing these recipes for anything more than just like performance, you know, and like health. So I didn't think it would be interesting enough. And then the other thing is because I'm supposed to be fasting, I kind of feel guilty about eating. It's like I'm ashamed, so I'm hiding. Don't look at me! I'm like stuffing my face. Don't look at me! Food dripping out of my mouth. It's gonna be way too much food for me to eat. And there's gonna be a lot of waste. Maybe I'll be able to portion it. Because they sell cucumbers 3 for, I think it's either 99 cents or $1.39. And so I just buy 3 cucumbers, you know? So I probably only needed 2. And then I was kind of hungry when I went shopping, so I got a bunch of mushrooms. You know, I got 3 bunches of these. I don't know if you call them bunches, but you know, pieces, big, decent sized pieces of mushrooms. But you want to see it, so I'm going to show it to you. And this is like my go-to recipe that basically I'll take you through the whole history. When I was with David Jubb doing my medicine training, I was recovering from mild traumatic brain injury, and through his, you know, techniques of whole brain functioning, which is a form, you know, he wouldn't like me to call it hypnotherapy because it really is more holistic than just hypnotherapy. But maybe he would. Maybe he would be okay with me calling it hypnotherapy. Definitely not NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, because that's kind of like a brand name. But his brand is called whole brain functioning. And it's a blend of science and spirituality. So he was or is also trained as a Native American medicine person, and they do things just like how the hypnotherapy works. They do things below the level of consciousness. So your healing, your change work, behavioral change work, is going to happen without you thinking, and that's the only way it's going to happen. So over the course of 4 months when I was with him, he magically helped me change my behavior. I wasn't completely healed because when I came back, I did get triggered and end up in jail, but I was a lot better off than where I was before I left. So no regrets. But what I would say is that the just looking for a clean tray here. What I say is that the change work that he did for me below the level of consciousness, it instilled in me the importance of pumpkin seeds. So when I came back from my medicine training, this is in 2013, it took me a minute to, I don't know, let the dust settle, because I wasn't with him anymore. I was by myself here. And my support system wasn't the same. You know, I was with my parents, with my girlfriends, people that weren't live foodarians. They have their own behavior problems. So it wasn't until I got out of jail, my dad moved me into the basement of this building here. And I started working at Pinpoint. At that time it was called Pinpoint Muay Thai. I helped turn it into Pinpoint MMA. When I started living here, and I had no money. And I started building Master Luki brand as Life Food Certified. I really started to focus majorly on pumpkin seeds. And the first recipe was a simple activated pumpkin seed. So that means all I did was soak them in a salted water, like a brine of distilled water and Celtic sea salt. Snipe really is not good, but whatever. I'm not gonna get a new one. And the longest I ever lived on dino scales, they called them dino scales because, you know, that was part of the hypnotherapy that David did for me. Was there was a guy, you know, this could be me hallucinating, but there was a guy that was calling in to talk with David when I was with him. I was with him 24/7 for 4 months. His name was Dino. And Dino supposedly had a tumor in his throat. But he supposedly had a treasure map where the largest fortune in the world was buried. So I think it was a metaphor. He was telling me that Master Luki brand could be the biggest thing ever. To combine sports and nutrition like nothing else. Healthy though. Dino, his name was. So every time we talked to Dino, it was like that word was in my head. So eventually Dino came out. Could be hallucinating, you never know. It's just how I see things. My son Max loves dinosaurs. So over the years, now I lived on dino scales for 20 days, I think. Might have been 18, might have been 28. It was definitely something with an 8. I'm pretty sure it was 28, but it might have been 18. I'm not trying to exaggerate. But, eventually, let's see, what was the next one? I think maybe the next one was just the dino cheese. Oh, that's what it was. It was dino cheese, but it was kind of like a Parmesan. So, I think I was making it in a... What's that blender called? A magic bullet. Because the Vitamix actually is too powerful to make Parmesan out of pumpkin seeds. Because it will blend it so much that it will become cream. Like the fats that are so important for brain health, which is why he prescribed them to me. They will make it into a cream or butter. So I was making it with Magic Bullet, which is it's basically a food processor, you know, like a Cuisinart. Anyway, that became Dino cheese, and the next Dino cheese that I made was I believe I was making a hard cheese next, and I got these molds. If you've been following me a while, you might know what I'm talking about. They're actually cake molds to make mini cheesecakes. And I was going for like a wheel of cheddar basically. Oh god, my eyes are watering. Ooh, that stung. But then my girlfriend, she started to tell me that she likes it more soft and creamy, like a ricotta cheese. You guys know what ricotta is? So we started putting that inside of a half of a pumpkin. And I even put it in a squeeze bottle, if you can remember. And so that's where this recipe kind of came from. I'm going to make it even more watery than that because it's going to be basically like a thick dressing now. But since, 2014 now. Yeah, ricotta and calzone. Or what's the other one? Manicotti, as they say. Manicotti. I think it's also sometimes put in, what's the other one? Ravioli, stuffed shells. They put it on top of ziti. Fat bastards. Italians. Disgrace. I'm ashamed. Ashamed of all the junk food that my mom gave me growing up. Alright, I'm just gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put this here like this. That's so good. Okay, I'm gonna salt it. Don't ask me why, don't need to. Definitely don't need to, but I'm doing it anyway. For some reason, I decided to salt that. Leave this out for the cheese sauce. Okay, now the next thing I'm gonna do to free up the blender, now that the pot here is done being used, I'm gonna put that in there like that, okay? I'm gonna take this strainer, put it here in the pot, okay? And then I'm gonna take this blender, which is filled with soaked buckwheat, and pour it into this, what's called a grain and produce bag. Or grain and seed bag. What is this called? Eco bags. Ecobags.com. This is Jub's longevity staple. We used it to make nut milk. So basically you blend your nuts. We used Brazil nuts. David over the years found that to be the best flavor for its price, I guess. Brazil nut milk. And then you blend it, and then when you pour that through here and you milk it, what you get is, just the liquid, not the pulp, so it's not grainy. But I'll just get the lip in there. I don't know if you're getting a good angle. Okay, now. I generally don't use tap water. The only reason why I'm using it right now is because the what do you call it? The buckwheat kind of got hardened. Not hardened, but like pushed down. And the last time I used tap water on my sprouted buckwheat, it didn't sprout. So all I'm doing is using this to get the buckwheat out. And then I'm going to rinse it with the Arrowhead water that I have, which I think is better because it doesn't have chlorine in it. Okay. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Put that over right there. And then basically you just kind of rinse them. Rinse them, and then I pull the buckwheat all to one side, one corner, and then put that in this strainer. And then I pulled it all to one corner because the strainer is kind of small, so that's hopefully going to stay like that. Alright. So now we got the blender. Buckwheat groats look awesome. Oh yeah. Arrowroot water. It's Arrowhead water, bro. You never heard of it? It's probably tap water, but it's spring water from Alpine Spring Water by CG Roxanne. Bottled at the CGR Spring near the Ouachita Mountains at CG Roxanne, Norman. AR is what? Arkansas or Arizona? Arkansas, right? Norman, Arkansas. The Ouachita Mountain Range. There you go. Ochita. So, before we chop those mushrooms up, I'm just gonna let them cool down. So the pumpkin seed cheese sauce, I'm gonna keep it somewhat light. The thing is, you have to have at least a cup of material because this freaking Vitamix carafe, otherwise it won't blend it. It's like really terrible, but anyway. We got pumpkin seeds, we got apple cider vinegar. It's gonna give it that tang. That's I wouldn't call it spice, but you know, the pumpkin seeds by itself has a cheesy flavor, and it's mild. It's like what we were saying, the ricotta. But when you add the apple cider vinegar, it gives it a cheddar flavor. You understand what I'm saying? The vinegar gives it a cheddar flavor. Nutritional yeast, much more cheesy flavors, takes it up a notch. Okay, I'm not gonna go crazy because that's for the Dino Tracks. Okay, the Celtic salt, very important. I'm eyeballing it. I like it salty though. And finally, water. Matter of fact, I'm going to put a little even more water so that it's more like dressing, but not too much. Okay, now I'm going to blend that. Oh, almost forgot. Almost forgot. Habanero. I may regret putting both of these in, but they haven't been very spicy lately, guys. Should I put one in and taste it and then put another one in if it's not spicy enough? Tell me right now, should I go right to 2 or should I test? Should I test with 1 or should I go right to 2? What do you think? While you're deciding, I'm going to cut these mushrooms. All I'm doing is cutting the base off for now, and I'll decide if I'm going to chop them further. I don't know what to call these. Fingers, leaves. What do you call these pieces of mushroom that I'm cutting off? Such an awesome texture. I think this is a better texture than the portobello, whoever said that. This is a rubbery, it's a chewy texture. I really like it. It's like calamari. You ever have calamari? It's that kind of texture. Matter of fact, that gives me an idea. I can make a life food calamari out of this shit. Talk to me, Goose. Test. Okay. Alright. We're going to test it right now. First, going to blend. just for me, so I can do this. Wait for it. Ooh. 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 Good thing I tested it. That is kicking. Wow. This, bro, you know what this tastes like? Hot wing sauce. Not even lying. Not even lying. This tastes exactly like hot wing sauce. Like, if you know, not that I promote hot wings, but I have had hot wings in my life. And I used to love it. They had a 10-cent hot wings special. I would get like 50. Fucking 50 wings, man. I would get different flavors too. I would get the hot one. I would get the barbecue one for like a dessert wing because it was sweeter. But this tastes like the hot one. Mmm. Good thing I only put one in because I think more than that would have been too much. Alright, let me go put this back here. The buckwheat's got to be, what do you call it? Rinsed every 8 hours. About 8 to 12. I'm just washing the cutting board off. Or rinsing it off. No soap, just rinsing it. Okay, that's that. So when I wake up, I'll rinse the buckwheat again. Alright, now let's bring you in for the close-up here. Why is it when I'm about to end the stream I get more viewers than any other time? Fucking bullshit. Right on, El Kesh. I actually enjoyed some foraged fungal rare fare earlier myself. Either Pleurotus pulmonarius, phoenix mushroom, or Pleurotus populinus, aspen oyster. Such wondrous abundance, huh? Oh, you just had some vinegar hot wing sauce there, bro? You would like this taste of this, bro. This tastes like that sauce, man. Mmm. There was a place, I forgot the name of it. It was a raw vegan place in Brooklyn, New York. I went on a date once, and they're no longer in business, but they had an oyster mushroom with, sauce on it that was supposed to be like wings. So good. I think it was even raw. They probably just marinated it. It doesn't have to be steamed like I did. It softens if you leave it over time. You know? Rick, let me tell you something, man. My son eats meat now. My baby, who I gave my whole life to, and who I saw get sick when the wife started giving him junk food. I yelled at her. I yelled at everyone, man. I lost custody. I lost input. I couldn't support him. I seen him eat steak. My brother gave it to him. There's nothing I could do about it. Except try to lead by example. Be the best fighter I can be. And provide an alternative. Let me tell you something. You come around here, taste this. Come stay in my apartment, bro. I'll make some of this shit for you. You'll love it. So that's cucumber, red onion, oyster mushroom, and we'll call it hot cheese sauce. Now, what I'm gonna do is sit in front of my computer, munch on this, and I'm not gonna talk, so I'll just end the stream, all right? But I just wanted to show you that, and that invite's open to all y'all. Anybody want to come? We got enough room for 3 people on this couch. You can all come at the same time. I do have to get bunk beds. This is my room. I have to get bunk beds to have my sons here. So I might move that thing or move this over and then put the bunk beds over there. But that will only be one night a week if I'm able to get them to sleep over here. So anybody wants to come do some healing, do some flushing, open invite. Londos, you can sleep on the sidewalk. I'll put a cardboard box out there. How about that? Thank you, Rick. He says, that's good you gave them a healthy eating foundation. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just have to keep hope alive. You know, but what I was gonna say, thank you for reminding me, is that, you know, I ain't mad at you. Don't say something like, oh yeah, nah, you know, I ate the chicken, but I ate the wings, but it's the one that kills you. Well, you know it kills you and causes cancer, but I ain't mad at you. Let's just say though that you can heal naturally if you want to. Don't wait too long. Don't let it get out of hand. Don't wait till the doctor gives you a diagnosis, okay? That's why I'm opening my home to you. And anybody watching, you want to do natural healing? Let's get it. Take my good glasses off, put my backup glasses on, or my regular glasses. And exciting news today. If you're just tuning in, I revealed it earlier in the broadcast, but I'll tell you again. I'll actually show you. Apparently, my coach, my grappling coach, who is a black belt under Emerson Souza, and really amazing martial artist. He's a combatives instructor for, fuck, he told me, the National Guard. He's in the Air National Guard, but if you go to Penn Station in New York here, anybody wearing digital camo, he also teaches he told me the name of it, defense tactics. I forgot what it is. Anything with a weapon, anything without a weapon. You see guys in the military in New York, my coach teaches them. He's legit. He beats black belts. And that's why Emerson gave him his black belt, because he came in as a brown belt under Justin Garcia, Master Chim. But he does so much studying on his own, he taught himself things that Master Chim doesn't teach. And he did that through all the BJJ Fanatics DVDs being released by Gordon Ryan, John Danaher, Gary Tonin, and everyone else. So he's basically a black belt under John Danaher, which is as legitimate as you can get. And he, yesterday, saw a recent podcast of Faraz Zahabi. Faraz Zahabi is George St. Pierre's coach. If you don't know, he's up in Canada. and he's also a student under John Danaher, who is Henzo Gracie's top teacher, or was. I don't know if he's affiliated anymore, but he taught Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in New York City for 20 years or whatever. You know, it's like, what's tougher than New York City? The Blue Basement is legendary. Anyway, John Danaher, Faraz Zahabi, on a podcast talking about how John Danaher trains people who never want to wear a kimono. They never want to wear a gi. And he still promotes them. So John Danaher and Faraz Zahabi are talking on the podcast about how you can be a legitimately ranked Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner and never wear the gi, which is what I've been saying all along. I mean, Eddie Bravo does it, but I don't necessarily do Eddie Bravo's moves. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu moves for MMA. I don't do Jiu-Jitsu moves for no gi grappling. A lot of Eddie Bravo stuff, not only can you injure yourself because it puts your joints at weird angles and relies on tendons and ligament strength rather than structure and position. And if you don't believe me, just ask Eddie Bravo how his knees and hips are. And I'll tell you, they're not good. You know, he's had surgery after surgery, and he might even have replacements. Anyway, I don't do 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. What I do is called Ace Combat. And it's like Jiu-Jitsu without the bullshit. And I am now ranked. I'm going to wash these. Can you see the color? I'm a brown belt as of today. Got my brown belt. These are 4 brown belt rash guards. I'm gonna wash. He gave them to me. They're clean, but I'm gonna wash them anyway because I gotta do laundry. So that's why I'm celebrating today by eating. I'm a jiu-jitsu brown belt. Pat myself on the back. Feels good. I don't necessarily believe it. I think I'm still I'm getting to be a good purple belt. But I could say no, but I'm not gonna say no. I'm just gonna grow into it. I'm gonna dedicate myself even more to improvement, and I'm gonna earn this rank. So if you follow me on social media, you're gonna see me post a picture of me wearing the rash guard with my coach, and I'm gonna say I'm now a brown belt in Ace Combat, and it's like jiu-jitsu without all the bullshit, including the farmer's robe. You don't need a kimono. You don't need a gi. John Danaher said that. He's the best grappling coach in the world right now, and that's good enough for me. Thank you, Matt, for congratulating me. Thank you, everyone else, for watching. Stay tuned for more exciting news and recipes and action. One more thing, I'll just turn this on. One more thing. You're welcome, man. Thank you for asking for it. Without you, it probably wouldn't have happened. How's that? I wouldn't have live streamed if you didn't ask me to. So thank you, bro. You're MVP tonight. Londos, you're my enemy. You probably like that. The last thing. Oh shit, it's on the other TV. Hold on. Look at this shit. Look what's going on here. Okay, let me just turn this off. Okay, got my two TVs here. So this, I'm gonna bring over to here. Okay, and now I can turn this one off. Ah, shit. They both respond to the remote, so this one I gotta turn on my hand. Okay. So the last thing that has to be done for MasterLukey.com. Now, if you want, you don't have to. You can go vote. I put it back up. Oh, he fixed it. He fixed it. Amazing. Look. This was the last thing that I asked him to do. You see this? As you're swiping, as you're sliding, you can see where the slide bar is. So I wanted to give myself a 52, and I wanted to give Biggie a 45, a 44. Looks like it's calculating. Boom. What happened? Oh, it didn't register. Well, he technically didn't tell me it's ready yet, so I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and see what happens. But that was the last thing. So now just the changes that I've done, cost me another $150, but basically I can delete any vote that I want. So the haters that have, messed with the scoring by giving me a 0 and my partner a 100 or whatever, I can go into the admin panel and delete that to make sure that the scores are accurate. The other thing was, let me see here. I'll just pull up the chat with my dude on Fiverr. The other thing was, I can put here the code name, Optimus, Lukey, Biggie, Luke. And then the last thing that after he did those two things, I asked him to do that where when you do this, you can actually see where your number is. So before it was like you had to wait to let go of the slide bar and then you would see where it was. But now you can, it looks like he fixed it. But for some reason it didn't register. Maybe he's probably still working on it. Because he didn't message me saying that it's done. He said, last thing he said was, I'll make that change tomorrow and we'll let you know. So that's it. We're pretty much done. He wanted to do a lot more with my website. I just can't afford to invest anymore, and I think for now it's functional. It's functional and it's good enough. And I think there's something. You let me know, but I think there's something like, I don't know if the word is attractive, but it's like people appreciate when something is not so polished. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm a real person. This is a real website. I'm a work in progress. My work is my website's a work in progress. I don't have a fancy team of scientists or whatever. This is all me. This is what I am. It's kind of like the Dino Tracks. It's like homemade. I think there's something attractive about that. What do you think? Let me try some of the salad here. Oh. Oh man. Rick says, I think it's cool that it looks like it's from the 90s. Okay. It's retro. Thank you, Rick. You and Matt are the co-captains of the team, man. Positive vibes. Yeah, habanero effect. Oof. I love it. Just enough though. I'm getting the flavor of the pepper, and the spice is not too much. I can't go more than habanero. I can't do like, they don't even sell it, but you know, like ghost pepper or any of that stuff. I've tried it before, but this is enough for me. Interesting. Nate Quarry on Twitter. In the discovery of our UFC lawsuit, we found emails from managers to the UFC brass saying their fighters will actually take less money than offered, all to gain favor with the UFC as a manager that is, quote, easy to work with. Wow. John Nash. You have managers that are in the pocket of the UFC that govern a massive umbrella of fighters. UFC uses these 2 or 3 managers. We all know who they are. Will never speak up against the UFC. That is the UFC's monopoly. Their mafioso tactics. Zuffa Brothers, man. You can't own casinos in Vegas without being connected. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'll come back to the news tomorrow. All right. Thank you again for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Over and out.